If your landscape sketches ever feel flat, plasticky, or just off, there's a good chance you're missing one of the three simple things I'm going to show you. And if you ignore these, your drawings will always fight you. Let me show you what they are and how to use them without overthinking. I'm Mike. I'm a landscape architect and I sketch a lot, but here's the truth. I don't always know what I want to draw when I start. Ideas come from all over the place. The real world, the people I design for, and whatever's rattling around in my head on a given day. Sometimes it's a place I've been, a memory, the smell of rain, the way wind combs through tall grass, the sound of leaves falling. Sometimes it's a photo, a movie scene, or even a video game. There's a lot of good art in those games, by the way. In this sketch, I started with a photo from a magazine, and then, as usual, I wandered off and changed the scene entirely. That's just part of the fun. I like to pull the viewer into a scene with deliberate lead lines, often with roads, creeks, fences. Here I'm using a simple path and a gate. It's almost like saying, "You're not here, but you could be. The gate's open." Now let's talk about the three things that will instantly improve your sketching and what happens if you skip them. Texture is what makes a landscape feel alive. Without it, your drawing becomes a smooth, shiny toy version of the real thing. With pen sketching, texture comes from cross-hatching, short strokes, long strokes, different angles. For grass in a pastoral scene, for example, here I keep strokes wispy and angled, like the field only gets bush hogged once in a while. The wind's usually pushing it, and so your hatching should also push in the same direction. Where the land folds, start a new direction of hatching. Add fringes along the edges of grassy area, and those irregularities will convince the viewer that this is grass, not carpet. Forested areas get denser hatching, more marks, more weight, and that leads us to the second component. Value is simply the difference between light and dark, but it's also the difference between depth and flatness. Some people say the background should always be lighter and the foreground darker. That's mostly true, but clouds and shadows don't care about rules. What matters is that something changes from back to front. Just a change in the lightness to darkness. Vertical objects, trees, posts, structures, they're usually darker than horizontal surfaces, as a general rule of thumb. If everything is the same value, or light to darkness, your drawing just becomes a 2D cutout. It's like an overexposed photo. It's all light and no depth. Value is where your sketch starts to breathe. Now, overlap seems like a basic concept, but it's one of the most powerful tools you have. If one object sits in front of another, your brain instantly reads depth. It's automatic. In this sketch, I'm using a wire fence that overlaps the trail. Because the fence is see-through, it's trickier, but that's what makes it interesting. The path, it bends away in perspective while the fence holds its own alignment. That tension creates depth. You can see simpler examples too, the midground trees overlapping the background, for example. If you ignore overlap, your scene will collapse. Everything sits on the same plane and the illusion of space disappears. These three components, texture, value, and overlap, aren't the only things that matter in landscape sketching, but if you want your drawings to feel deep, believable, and immersive, these are the ones you cannot ignore. Use them deliberately, and your viewer will feel like they can step right into your world. Skip them, and your sketch will stay flat and lifeless. If you want more videos like this, where we break down the hand-to-brain process of sketching landscapes, stick around. There's a lot more to explore.